Alright, so the topic of today's video is about protein and should John Venus and Brian Turner decrease their protein intake. So they made a video recently, top 10 vegan protein sources, top 10 vegan foods of protein sources, and to me it seems like they're eating like shitloads of protein still. Like, even though they're like saying you don't need that much protein and stuff like that, but I think comparing to average people, they're smashing in the protein, and especially things like tofu, tempeh, beans, lentils. If you make like so much volume or your staple of your calories coming from that, it's gonna feel so fucking bloated. And for people like Brian Turner, who is struggling with acne, I notice if I like lots of things like processed, like fake meats, tofu, beans, I get like constipated, and then it shows up on my skin as well. So I highly recommend you to decrease your protein intake if you wanna clear up your acne, and also the fat. Fat is the most important, of course, but you wanna decrease your protein intake as well because it's just not digested so quickly as carbohydrates, and it's creating more toxins. And you know that protein dense foods like beans and stuff is just like shitting like bricks. So, but the concern in the vegan bodybuilding scene is that they want to get they want to be assured that they're getting enough protein to build muscles, and muscles are like fueled by glycogen, right? So glycogen is converted from carbohydrates, and basically if you don't eat enough carbohydrates, you're not gonna have energy to work out hard. If you like low carbohydrate diet, you're not gonna be reaching your potential to lift as hard as or as heavy as you would if you're eating like high carbohydrate diet. And protein, of course, is used to rebuild the muscles, but how much is really needed? I think these guys are still overrating the importance of getting enough protein on a vegan diet, just to make sure, like. But for me, like, I really love protein diet, like most of my protein comes from things like vegetables and sometimes tofu. But you forgot to I think these guys forgot to think that every fruit and vegetable has protein in it. Like, I just had meal of mangoes and papayas, 2 papayas and about 7 mangoes, and even those fruits, like, they still have about 5% of protein, something like that, which is like exactly how much you need, So if you stick to ratios of like 80-10-10, you can still build muscles. Maybe it's the myth that you need lots of protein, because when you eat lots of protein, you also increase like the inflammation of your body, which creates like like also protein is like binding more with the water, so you also like it's not like muscles really, it's just more like bulky look from the protein. It's more the muscle inflammation and the water retention and actual muscle size, you know. It'll be interesting to see like it's because if you like high carbohydrate, low fat, low protein, all the excess like fat and inflammation just goes away, and you can just like see only your muscles, which are really are there. But I guess if you're like competing for bodybuilding, you want to have that like more puffy look, even when you're cutting, you know, like you still want to have that. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Should these guys be focusing too much on protein, especially if they want to like clear up their skin, like Brian? I said to Brian like he should lower his protein intake, and he's also worried about his fat intake, which is like even more obscure because fat is also in everything. Like he thinks that the processed, how do you call it? The fake meats, you know, and fake vegan products. Meat replacements they still have lots of fat in there, and he doesn't realize that he thinks it's just like protein, but it adds up, you know, and it's gonna show up on your skin as well. So that's my thoughts and criticism. It'll be interesting to see if they, even vegan Gains should like, I see him also like lowering he only eats like fruit, and then he doesn't eat any rice or potatoes, no starches. So it'll be interesting to see vegan Gains. Some of these bodybuilders to go on a high carbohydrate, low fat, low protein diet, and see if they how much they lose, but doing it properly, like getting enough calories and stuff, like potatoes, rice, the really high protein foods, you know. And you can still eat your lentils, but just don't overdo it. Like these guys, I just see like big like bowl of beans, and I'm just like thinking like that is gonna come out of you so hard, like so difficult, because it's like just so dense, you know, and dehydrates you and stuff like that. So yeah, keep it low protein, and you can still keep muscles. Like I have no problem, even though I'm an endurance athlete, I still like keep lots of muscles, like, as you can see. And I don't eat any of this, like I don't eat much beans. I eat like very little tofu. I actually don't like tofu that much. So I pretty much eat just fruits, starches, and vegetables. It's pretty much like staple of my diet. So let me know what you think about this. Is a misconception? Should they keep the protein like that, or should they lower it and increase their carbohydrates? Thanks for watching, and keep it carved, keep it low fat, low protein. See you later.